to the place where singles shine, celebrating life, divine by design, faith and love, we intertwine. Route 77, where your journey's prime.
Welcome to the Route 77 podcast. Today we're getting into a topic that's been trending all over social media, dating yourself. Now before you picture anything too self-absorbed, we want to explore what this looks like from a Christian perspective. Is it possible to enjoy solo time, a good meal, a walk, a movie, in a way that refreshes your soul and still honors God? We believe it is, but like all things, it comes down to the heart. This episode is all about finding the line between healthy self-care and self-centered living. So if you're single and wondering whether it's okay to treat yourself or worried about going too far, this one's for you. Let's talk about how to rest, reflect, and rejoice in this season of life with purpose and gratitude. Welcome to the Route 77 podcast. I am your host, Natasha, and I am here with Monique.
Hello.
And David.
Hello.
And
Don't mind me.
It's been a long weekend for Monique. She's been to her dad's funeral in Calgary and home again. So she got off the plane like an hour ago. So
Part of it is you're sleeping in a strange bed because it's not the bed that you're used to sleeping in. So getting comfortable, and the sheets are, I don't know what kind of sheets Mommy has. They're a slippery kind. So they kept sliding off the bed. So I had to keep fetching them back.
Just playing catch all night.
Yeah. And then it would be hot and cold. So I'm like blanket on, blanket off, blanket on, blanket off.
I hate
Yeah.
those nights. I always get 6 hours of sleep because I'm just awake, sticking my feet out of the covers, pulling my feet back into the covers.
What is our
our
topic for
topic
today?
is weird, but I think it's an interesting one because it's sort of a thing right now. It's called dating yourself. And I think there can be like a self-absorbed version of this. But
And it doesn't
where
sound
you all go
self-destructive at
to-
all.
You're married to yourself and you're divorcing
Yeah.
yourself.
But I think there could also be actually a healthy version of that, of the fact that you can actually go out and do something on your own and enjoy it and it not be like a downer or anything. So trying to find that like line between weird and
Spending time with your pet doesn't count either.
that's what I do all the time. But yeah, so it is a kind of like a thing that's going on social media and people talk about it. And generally it is, I'm just spending time with me. I'm working on me. I don't need anyone. So that does have a very negative connotation that way. So we don't want to be talking about it like a narcissistic way of looking at yourself or a very self-absorbed version of yourself, like really focused on
Oh.
you.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah, you like,
Oh, there you go.
You cut
A
out
very
for
yeah.
A very self-absorbed.
Yeah. And we just want to talk about how you can maybe self-care in a Christian way but still basically embrace times when you're on your own and you can do things. You don't have to. There's a time when I was like, oh, I want to go see this movie. I need to go with somebody. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I can go see a movie. Pretty much like you go into a movie, you don't really actually do much except watch the movie. So what's the big deal if there's someone there with you or not? But you have this idea
Right.
that, and it's nothing wrong with going to a movie with people is fun. But it doesn't mean that you can't like just be like, hey, I want to go see this movie and actually just go see the movie on your own. And it's perfectly okay. I did that with the second Infinity War for the Avengers. I wanted to see it as soon as possible because I didn't want any spoilers. I had waited all the way up to that point watching all the movies and I really did not want spoilers. So I went like day 2 or something. I avoided social media and went day 2. And it was actually nice. Like I just went. I didn't have my ex who I was with at the time telling me how bored he was. And I could just enjoy it. And yeah, so that was just.
There you go.
And I know there's even people who are like, oh, I can't go out. I can't do this. I can't do that because they're single. But you can go out and go for a nice dinner. Go to a nice restaurant. Why not? If you can afford it, obviously. But if you want to, you can't be like, oh, I can't go and do this because I'm not dating. Or I can't do this because or my friends are busy. So I can't do this. And you can. And I think there's times when you can actually understand that like time on your own can be good. And also like doing stuff on your own is okay. You're not sad or like a sad sack or like loser or something because you're doing something on your own. Because people are like, oh, I can't imagine going to a restaurant on your own. It looks so weird. But then there's other people who are like very introverted. They're like, oh, I love going to a restaurant. So, yeah.
Yep. And like I really like Korean food and stuff like that. You're not a fan, and I have other friends who
The
like it
spicy
too, but
salad.
Stupid spicy salad. It was just steamed vegetables. How did it burn my mouth off?
and it wasn't from heat.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
temperature. No.
But every now and then, like I'll have that craving where I just want to have that rice bowl thing. And you guys are like, yeah, no. So I go by myself. And then I've got my movies on my phone, and I watch a movie while I have dinner, and then I go home and I continue watching my movie, and I'm happy.
And you could people watch too. Sometimes it's interesting to actually just sit and watch the people go around what things are going on. If you're in like the mall or something, it's actually interesting.
I was just going to say, yeah, going to the mall, sitting at one of the edge tables and just watching people as they walk by or whatever.
Very
I like doing
interesting.
that.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds creepy to me.
We're watching you. Yeah, just like stare at them as they go by like this. Follow them down the hall, see what they do. Take notes.
laugh at their clothes.
If I do that, I'll hold my white cane.
There you go. Then they won't know. They'll just be like,
Exactly.
wait.
Yeah. I'm not watching you because I'm blind. My eyes are following you. It's like that creepy picture on the wall.
No matter
Correction.
where
Where the eyes are following
My
me.
eyes
just the one
follow.
eye.
Your eye.
I am a cyclops.
Weirdo. Oh my word. I've done a lot of like when you're single and there is nobody, like I didn't have, most of my friends are married or they've got family, and I don't have family here either.
Mhm.
So until I went to Taekwondo and met you guys, I really did a lot of stuff on my own. That's just the way it was because there was nobody really that I could go and do things with because my life was work, home, work, home, work, home, work,
And
home,
then church on the weekend.
church. My hands are doing really
They're very,
weird
very
things.
slow.
I did.
That's how you know you're telling the truth.
So is that going to the mall, going to the movies, going out for dinner?
Going to
I had
that
to do that.
play or that interesting, like even when money goes your way, I was actually looking at Facebook events, just seeing, hey, this thing's going on. And I was like, oh, that would be cool. But then I was like, meh. I got my lazy introverted part of me took over. But
Money.
Money.
That's it. Just
I would-
looking at the events. It's exhausting.
woo,
And you know what else is some of the other things I used to do? Pedicures, manicures, girly thing. But sometimes if it was a nice day, I like driving. I like going for drives. I would just go down the highway and see where it takes me for we turn around, come back home.
now it's
Look around the park.
yeah.
Go to the lake, go to the ocean, go to White Rock. I spent a lot of time. I would go to White Rock. I'd go in the morning on my days off. The tide would be out. I would have my chair and my umbrella and my music and a book, and I would go right out to the edge, and I would sit there until the tide started to come in 4 hours later.
You should sit on like a floaty thing so it pushes you up to the.
Or it sends you out to sea. One of the two.
You don't know what'll happen
All
that
of a
day. You just see what happens wherever the wind.
Spontaneous.
All of a sudden, I'm Gilligan on another island.
All you did was go out for a 4-hour tour.
You can mitigate disasters by bringing a paddle.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, it's so much more fun with you have a paddle because there's nothing like being up the creek without a paddle.
Exactly, right? So yeah, it's what I think dating yourself means. It's actually almost like giving yourself permission in a world that's enamored by, or like where it's such the norm to do everything as a couple, that you're actually saying, wait a second, I can do this by myself, and it can be a completely rewarding and enjoyable time, and I don't
Mhm,
need It's not like I don't need a man. I don't need someone else. I don't need a romantic partner in order to participate in life.
And you don't even, sometimes when you go off and do things on your own, these are wonderful opportunities to reflect, meditate on God's word, and just to, I don't know, just to be. Like when I would go out to the ocean, a lot of times I would just sit there and just stare out at the water and just watch the waves and just be.
Enjoy.
Contemplate
sometimes-
life.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're just so busy going, we just don't take that time just to let our souls get rejuvenated, to let God fill us up and to just let him speak to your heart and to your soul at times.
Then what are dreams? You just sleep and have a dream about you sitting on a beach. Isn't that rejuvenating in a sense?
I don't know if I'd feel as rejuvenated.
Mostly disappointed
But-
when I got up and realized I didn't actually get to go.
Yeah, pretty
Last
much.
night I
I'm
dreamt for
still in-
some reason that I went to China and I brought Zeus with me. And he kept escaping out of the hotel room. Somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah. And I woke up and I was just very confused because I'm like, why did I dream I went to China? What does that have to do? Of all places, it should be Japan, since that's what I'm playing, is the Assassin's Creed Shadows from Japan. Whatever.
I'm watching Chinese dramas. I still haven't.
yeah,
gone there.
I don't know. All I did was go to the hotel and then go get some breakfast. That was pretty much all I did. And then Zeus kept escaping. So that was the extent of my China tourism in my dream. Because I didn't even get breakfast
You know what,
because I
I-
had to go figure out where Zeus was.
For as much as with the communist country and whatnot and what for, there is some really fascinating history there that is well worth seeing. The wall, which is pretty much not there anymore, a lot of it is just crumbled into.
Time.
But all those places, there's so many.
Part of it-
I don't know if I'd want to travel by myself necessarily.
Like some people do
Um,
and they find that okay, but I think, especially as a woman, it's not as easy
not as
and
safe.
safe to do, I think,
Yeah.
or recommended.
And there are just some experiences when you're traveling that needs to be shared with another person. And you don't have to have a romantic partner to do that. Our friends Betty and Lorraine, they often go, and not just with them, but there's a group of them that will go down to Mexico or whatever, and they go on vacations that way. It's more enjoyable to share those kind of experiences, definitely. But if you're one like us, go on a trip, the backyard maybe, because I think I can afford
Right,
that.
right. We vicariously still live through Korea in 2019.
Yeah, right.
But it was definitely
we
worth,
have
it was worth more because that's when we all connected, but that's also like we still have that bond that we had gone there and we done those things and it created a bond. So if you're thinking about doing traveling and you don't really want to go by yourself, find a good friend or even like someone who has similar interests. You never know what kind of. I know a lot of people who, not a lot, but I know several people who they go traveling with their girlfriends. Even if they are married or whatever, they'll take a week and go to this country or that country because like their spouse isn't super big into traveling and they have these good girlfriends that they do it with.
another thing, and I've thought of doing this too multiple times. A lot of times churches have groups that go. Some of them are ministry groups that are church centered, but there are some, like we had Israel trips. I think that's being put on hold right now because of what's going on down there. But there were people who we're doing an Israel tour. We're going to be going here. It's a group tour. And this is how much it costs. This is when we're going. And you can join in on that. And that's just an example. I know that there are many other groups that do that where they go with a group of people who may not know each other, but they all want to go and travel and do a tour group. And they join in these tour groups and they just pay their own cost with it.
Yeah. And I know that there's been some ministries and stuff that do that too. So if your church isn't doing it, let's say 106.5, like Praise 106.5, the radio station, they put on one. There's a couple other ministries I've seen that actually put like cruises or other events on for these type of things too. And while it's usually quite expensive in a sense, it's usually a deal. Like if you tried to do that yourself, then it would probably cost you more. but it's usually several thousand anyway. But if you could afford that, they usually have a deal. Like it would be a deal because they're getting bulk tickets.
Yeah. Yeah. So where this kind of a tour maybe was so much, but because you've got 10 people going, the price is cut down. So it's definitely worth looking into that kind of thing if that's something you're interested. Cruise ships, and we heard this from Carly, is that a lot of times they have amazing deals on certain cruises that you can go on. And they do have singles cruises, but I think those are meat markets.
Usually.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But again, if you've got a good friend or somebody that or family member, I've wanted to do it with them.
Yeah, and they usually have good packages with that too. If you do the non-alcohol one, then it's even cheaper. But some people like alcohol,
Right.
but I'm not big into that. But usually with the alcohol packet, like you're allowed a X amount, whatever, every night or something, and it's worth it too if you're into that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to get drunk on a cruise ship because I might take a step off.
I'm sure they have that taken care of. Like people watching for the drunk people tipping over the side. But yeah. So I guess the point though, like we want people to go out and enjoy themselves and to refresh themselves and not be afraid to try things or do things just because they don't have a romantic partner. But you also have to make sure that we're not like focusing solely on ourselves. So all of our time and resources now go to ourselves, like making ourselves feel better or happy or whatever it is. Like we start feeding it all the things that God has given us back into ourselves. And it doesn't mean
Our egos.
Pardon?
Our egos.
Yeah. But even like you're like, oh, I'm going to go on this cruise and then this cruise and then this cruise. So all your free time, like your holiday time, your free time is now all spent going to the cruises, and all the money that God has given you is now going for you to just
spend.
And again, doing stuff is
turn those into missionary work.
Yeah.
Go on the cruise and share the gospel with people there.
Yeah, because spending everything is not always a good thing, but saving everything
can have this similar.
I did. My brother Dan just bought himself a new car, 2022, and he used investments. He had paid out some of his investments, but he hates spending money. So apparently, he saved up money over 4 years so that he could eventually buy straight out this car. Like, you paid what? Fully what?
Some people have that discipline. I am not that disciplined.
I have a weird, I don't know what you call it, OCD thing about if I have $2,000 and then I need to buy something, I can't buy it because it'll drop the 2 to a 1. And I have to, if I want to buy something, it still has to have the 2,000 there.
That's why I think somebody said you should always carry cash with you because like it's harder for you to break a 20 than it is to just tap like $5. Because if you like have the 20, then you're like, I'm not going to have the 20. You actually stop yourself a little bit more. I don't know if that would apply to me or not, but apparently that's a thing. It's like a psychological.
No, it works. I have a couple hundred bills and I'm just like, I don't want to break this. Or the place just doesn't even accept it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not getting
only carry hundreds. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Lesson for today.
And I think, I think that's the one because breaking a $20 bill or a 10 or a 5 is not hard. A 50, you might pause a little bit longer. 100, you might definitely give it more than.
I would have to have enough money to have a $100 bill first. 20 is more or less that's a reasonable amount for me to have money.
The only time I ever get a $100 bill is if it's a gift
My
from my
birthday.
grandmother or something, or my birthday.
I've had some hundreds and some 50s, and because I think I had some farmers, sometimes they would give me a little bit something at Christmas time. And so I ended up with like 100 or whatever one time for that. And then I still used it, but then I needed money. But yeah, so there's.
Yeah. When you need gas, it's easy to break.
Yeah. But I guess it makes you check yourself if it's something that you don't really, it's a want versus a need.
Or if you go to Boston Pizza.
Yes.
Or any
Boston Pizza is a need. What are you talking about, David?
It's food. It's sustenance.
Yes, we have
Steaks are also a need. Steaks with my father are like $80.
having a little bit of that, like, not such a serious, because there are necessities. And when you have to fix your house, you have no choice. But there is something to that. And I've been trying to work my way to that as well, where I'm just trying to, let's just not spend so much. We don't need to go and buy this. We can have this instead. Take it from home, take your sandwich from home, and
Yeah,
like grocery shopping, get the soup that's on sale, and then you can have a soup and a sandwich.
your $1.50 coffee can be compared to your $12 Starbucks coffee.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Starbucks coffee, mostly because I don't really go to Starbucks and I don't like coffee, and I keep getting.
There's nothing There's nothing wrong with Starbucks, mainly because I don't go to Starbucks.
But she keeps
I
getting
keep
these
getting gift
Starbucks
cards,
gift
so
cards.
I keep going
Oh.
to use them as I get like the refreshers, that I keep going because I have all these gift cards. I've only used like half of it since Christmas.
Just re-gift the gift cards because you got so much going on.
I just
Oh no, she's keeping them all to
like, it's
herself.
all mine. Wrong. All the times I go into
No.
Starbucks. But yeah.
Yeah, coffee's at work. I got coffee at work. I don't have to go to Starbucks for coffee. I have free coffee. And just doing these little things, it's easier for me because I have access. It's harder for others, especially like when you were working full time at WestGen, you were in your vehicle all the time. There was no, it'll be interesting tomorrow.
I grabbed you some stuff. It's in the fridge.
I saw that. Thank you. And some applesauce cuppies.
They're like mixed fruit
Granola
cups.
yeah, that's kind of like
So I
cool.
thought it would keep you going. And I have some sandwich stuff in the fridge.
There's no pudding.
This is what you get. This is what you get when you have other people in your life and you're not self-caring.
I'm getting it for you, and you have what you have.
You get
You know, and-
surprises when you're not self-dating.
And it's greatly appreciated because I haven't been home since Thursday afternoon. And now I got home today, and tomorrow, right at like bright and early before the birds are up, I have to be up at the polling station, and I'm going to be there all day. And I'm not going to have the time to run home, make lunch, or run back, because I don't know how much time you get for lunch. And it's probably not that much. As much as we're close, it's still a couple minutes walk. And
do you
Just got to make yourself a roast beef sandwich.
Mom made roast for dinner. It was yummy. I might have to do it.
I
It
have
was
turkey
yummy.
in my fridge from Thanksgiving still.
Oh, do you?
I make a turkey sandwich. I want a turkey sandwich.
Talking about food.
Yeah.
I'm quite good.
Today,
myself,
I figured
thanks.
I would have to like live out what we're talking about today. So I took myself on a date to New York Fries and got 2 hot dogs.
2 hot dogs. There you go.
And then I got my Starbucks coffee refresher for free because I had the gift card. So I decided that's how I saved money today. So I
You get
it's
some
self-care.
cheesecake.
No,
No,
just the refresher. I get the large refresher because I have all this
I don't-
gift card money.
I don't know what a refresher
It's
is.
like a cold beverage. It's
Lemonade.
almost something like that. It's just, yeah, kind of thing. But apparently there's
There you
some
go.
sort of green coffee in there. I don't know what that means, but I don't taste any coffee, so I'm happy. And yeah, so just remember when we're doing this, you can do it to a certain extent, but when you overdo it, like then it's now becoming the idol in the life. You're becoming your idol in your life, whatever makes you happy. That keeps you in your comfort zone. I think a lot of times we just want to stay in our comfort zone and we go, oh, all week I have to go out of my comfort zone, do my work around people or whatever. I just want, when I'm not doing my job, I just need to like cocoon myself and recover. And sometimes, yes. And sometimes I think we take it too far. We can take it too far.
Oh, you're cutting out again.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I'm back.
Welcome back.
And I think we have to see what God's calling us to do. We see that Jesus took time to pray and rest and to step away from people and to not constantly be surrounded by people. So it's okay to do that because you do need to reset and regenerate and then have time in quiet with God. But I think if we start keeping God out of that extra time is when we start having issues. We're so focused on ourselves that we're not actually using it in the best way possible, perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah.
I find, and I really need to get back into doing this because I know that it's number one, it's good for me. And number two, it was a really great way for me to tune in my mind and my body and stuff, going for walks. I did some of my best thinking when I'm walking. And I could have music playing or not, but just walking. And you're filling up your lungs. It's good self-care because it's healthy. And you can also use it as a time to pray for your community, pray for the people around you, pray for
Part of
whatever
it
you
is
wanna
just
pray
getting
for.
away from the screens. So it helps you to refocus.
Yeah. I mean, it's all well and good to have that relaxing time at home when you got your feet up and you're watching your favorite TV show or playing your favorite video game. But every now and then you do need to get out. You do need to get outside. I don't know if you noticed this, but I think last summer we had such terrible weather every time you had a day off that we probably spent the entire summer inside, except for maybe a couple
Yeah, we
of
got a
days.
little bit done out there, and then it was just like rainy and cold most of the summer. It was crazy. Or it was like insanely hot to the point
Yeah,
where you're just like,
You don't want to go outside.
can't go outside.
Nope.
Yeah. Guess what I have plans for next weekend? Planting.
Planting. Garden. I got
Oh yeah, I've
gotta-
got, and that's for those who love to plant, who like to work in the garden, who like to work with plants. That is an incredibly huge self-care thing because you're literally in the dirt, you're cleaning things up, you're getting things done, and it just feels really good. It really does.
It's also very significant on your health. My grandfather, he is like 80, 85, and he gardens out in the little garden outside his thing, and he's in terrific, like, a lot better shape than we thought you'd think an 80, 85-year-old would be in.
They say that it is very good for your health, and people who are not green thumbs, who don't like gardening, who don't like plants, who don't like to do that kind of stuff, they can't relate. They have a different avenue that they get there from the earth kind of thing. I find, like last year, I did not get to work on any of my plant boxes. I couldn't plant anything in the garden. Weeds took over everything. I think I felt the worst last year than I had ever felt in any previous year because I didn't get out to do any gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been like, it's been nice for April, which is really cool. And I've actually been going out and I've been surveying, okay, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do here? And all these plant boxes are a mess. And I've got dirt in the garage and and I know that this year I am going to, rain or shine, I'm going to
get her done. Get her done.
Yeah.
All right, I expect a Korean or Japanese-style garden with bridges and ponds this year,
There you go.
Monique.
Little Zen gardens. Oh, you froze her. No.
I froze her.
That was just like, what? Getting the balcony back into shape where we could actually sit outside again.
Yeah.
We need a new net, by the
Okay.
way. Some of the plant boxes, the birds have decided that I didn't do any work. So they did it for me. Either that or these little pansy flowers, they just come back. And I've got 3 boxes that are full of purple and yellow flowers. And I'm like, who planted you?
God,
You weren't
God
there last
planted
year.
them.
They weren't there last year. They didn't show up last year. Maybe a little bit, but not like this. Now the whole box is just, they're full and overflowing. And I'm like, pretty.
Natasha came back with magic beans.
There you go. I was just like,
For
poof,
one time
poof, all
from the
over.
market.
Yeah. And so, and that is part of my, this is why I love spring and summers, because I like to get my hands dirty. I like to get in there. I like to clean it up. And I want to get everything. And I've got plans for that debt. And this year, I want to get these plans at least mostly realized.
Mhm.
And then I'll feel happy summer staying home and not having to worry
Yeah,
about
if I
it.
can get out there and get that lawn mowed, I'll be happier. I have the lawnmower home now. Somebody gave us a lawnmower that's a gas powered. It's bigger than the silly little electric one that we could afford last year. That's 12 inches and it's not very good in lawn.
Yeah, my brother almost bought one, and I said, "This is what happened to us with our electric lawnmower. You might want to rethink it."
And now,
You run over the cord.
yeah, it's more like you're constantly annoyed by the cord just the entire time. You get used to it, but you're just
Yeah.
annoyed the entire time that you have this cord. And
Well, if you have a green hose, don't get me to mow the grass.
you won't see it. And this was a self-propelled one too. And they just gave it to
Oh.
us for free. It's just that he got an electric one for his little lawn and he just found it annoying to try to have to start the thing. And I'm like, I've done that for years on ours. So I'm not super worried about it. I just need to figure out how to make it work. That's all, because it's just there. I'm sure I can Google it. But yeah, I tried to do the oil in my truck and then realized I didn't have a oil filter wrench, which that's half the purpose of changing your oil is to change your filter. And so I ordered one from Amazon, and originally it said it was supposed to come today, but now it says it's not coming till Tuesday. So I guess I'm not doing my oil till Tuesday or Wednesday. No, I have to work Wednesday, so Thursday. So hopefully it can.
But the toilet
is now fixed. So I did fix the toilet. I did something this weekend. I changed the innards in the toilet.
But in case you're all wondering, yeah, my dad's service went really well. It really did. For a service that was done at the funeral home, not in a church, because they didn't want to have a church funeral, it was still a celebration of life. And I think people are starting to move away from the sadness of the whole thing into more of, this was what this wonderful person meant to me in my life. And it was really, it felt like a celebration. And I got a lot of compliments on the eulogy. People saying, I forgot all those memories that you brought up. And my niece, I didn't know that about Opa. And it was like hugs. And then we had a small little gravesite thing. And I think we all went there. Nobody knew what to do. And the funeral director is just like, this is your guys' party. Do what you want. You're somebody going to say anything? And I'm looking around. Nobody's saying anything. I said, can I play a song? So I did. I put on Phil Wickham's Psalms 23. And then just partway through the very beginning of it, I started to quietly sing along with it. And then I just got more confident and started to just sing the song out. And then I had people like, wow, that was beautiful. I'm like, oh, thanks. Yeah, because it was one of those kind of things that nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew what to say. Anybody want to say anything? We're just standing around kind of, so now what do we do? No. So I did that so it was what I want. So I'm really glad that I was able to do that. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So. Sounds like you had a little self-care over the weekend.
Yeah.
Some mom time too, right?
Yeah, I got some mom time. I got to spend time with my brothers, got to spend time with my stepmom, going through some of dad's stuff. What do you want to take out of this stuff that means something to you? Yeah. I couldn't bring it with me because it was more than what my suitcase would carry. And a lot of it is glass and breakables. Daniel is planning on driving up sometime in the summer. He's got to come to Vancouver anyways for his job. So he's planning on bringing it with him.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So family time can definitely be self-care time. Taking time with your not significant other family. Like you don't have to have significant other to do things.
No. And family is important. That's one of the things that like Richard mentioned, because he's the youngest one. And he was saying, unlike a lot of other families, the three of us actually get along with each other. And we're very respectful of each other. Like when we were going through, like the three of us, we were going through dad's stuff. And do you want this? Maybe you want this. Do you want this? You can have this. But yeah, I could. If you really want it, I'm okay to give that to you.
A very Canadian, according to...
No, actually, it's not I don't know if that is that Canadian, because I have heard from other people whose families are literally fighting over certain things. And I'm just like, is it that big of a deal?
Yeah. It's ultimately it's things that we can't take with us.
Yeah, it's stuff.
Stuff.
And I'm just like, I really actually don't want any stuff because I have nowhere.
I got too much stuff. So yeah, so when we're trying to figure out where the line between self-indulgent living and healthy self-care is, I think we need to we can look at scripture. Where's my phone? Let me find some of these. Okay, let's look at 1 Timothy 5:6. 1 Timothy 5:6. But the widow who lives for pleasure is dead even while she lives. That's an interesting one, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of context for that, talking about widows. But I think it's just the fact that you're like, oh, you're on your own, and I'm just going to do everything I wanted to do forever. I'm just going to me. It's just all of a sudden you don't have to care about another person, and it's more about becoming self-indulgent than it is to actually. There's a time where you can actually start to figure out what it is to be single again through widowhood or divorce, but there's a time when it moves over into self-indulgence.
My uncle, who is, I don't know how many trips he's been in Canada. Oh, his wife died, 7 years ago? The amount of times he's gone on trips and he doesn't work. Where does he get the money from? Going to Vegas and going to here and going there and buying this and buying that and traveling all over the place. Became a widower and didn't deal with his
Grief.
loss. Yeah, grief. Yeah. So he is and not doing anything to help other people. So he living off my aunt and not paying rent, not helping out around the house, not keeping his own personal space tidy. This is the self-indulgent, depressed, probably, mentality.
Yeah. And there's also in Galatians 5:13, it says, you, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire, if it actually goes on, for the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command, love your neighbor as yourself. So again, it's not saying don't ever do anything that, is for you to use in a constructive way, like recovery, reflection, all those type of things. But we can't just be like, oh, I don't have to keep all these things from the Old Testament. I don't have to spend all my time doing all this or doing all that. I can just do whatever I want to do. Because I see that a lot where people are just like, they put church into their, oh, I got church for the hour and then I'm free to do whatever I want to do.
Mom was mentioning that. She has a lady across the street who is only Christian-like on Sunday. And the rest of the time it's foul mouthed and foul talk. And she says and then she says, and then the Pope died and she was, the Pope. And I was like, but yeah, it's not just the Sunday.
Yeah.
You're not just a pew warmer. God is with you all the time. And
he's even with you in your free time. Self-care time.
Yeah. And going to church doesn't absolve you of the whole week of sins you've purposely went to, because that's not how it works. Yeah, we actually had with Richard and my mom and myself, and we had a lot of talk about salvation. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
God
has actually put a Christian in my brother's life, and the kind of talk he has, it's close, but he's not quite there. So I said, you heard of Russell Brand, you should listen to his conversion story. Because he pulls no punches. He tells it just like so.
He's a very interesting one.
Get down to
he was a very interesting one, yeah. And he's right up Richard's alley.
Get down to the meat and grind of the issue. Why specifically does he not believe and tackle that?
Oh, it's not that he's actually talking like he is, that he wants to. I said, I'll give you some for instances to think about. I said, would you let a complete stranger walk into your house? What about somebody who hates you and would want to kill you and talks horrible things about you? Would you let them in your house? So if you wouldn't do that and God is greater than we are, why should he? Rich is going, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, and then I went, give the gift of salvation that Christ did on the cross is for everybody, if you believe. So, and he sounds like the way he talks, and he's this little lady must be talking Bible verses to him because he's throwing them at me, and I'm just like, you're funny. So, I think my brother is a lot closer to becoming a full-on Christian, and he has changed quite a bit in the last few months than what I remember when I was there in November. What the heck? To the point where he has got such a servant heart. He told Bev, if you need anything, if you need to go somewheres, if you need help in the middle of the night, call me. And he said the same thing to my mom. He says, you need anything? And mom says, she trusts him more than any other she says, I trust him with my life. And I'm like, what happened to Richard?
That's great.
Yep. Yeah. So you never know.
You never know what God's
what
been
you're-
putting, what God's been working at when you're not there.
Yep. Yeah. And one of the things that I know that we have done since we got this house is that we have been very purposeful in our commitment to devotional, to talking about God and to learning about God in the time that we have moved into this house, which is something that we didn't have before that because it was very difficult for us in that respect. And I think the growth that has happened for us in that time has definitely brought about. I surprised myself with some of the things that I was talking to mom about, and I have to tell you this. And she's going up. I was like, no, I'm going to bring you back to this conversation because I need to tell you this. And it just, wow, who is that? When did that happen? And that's because I've taken the time to immerse myself more
The Bible.
into God, learning about God. We talk about him all the time. We're always, even when we're doing Bible studies, we may laugh and joke about certain things, but we talk about the really deep kind of, that hurts my brain talk.
Yeah.
Well, it's where God is. When we have those conversations with one another, with our friends, these are probably the most important self-care conversations because you're feeding your soul, you're feeding your spirit, and only good can come out of it.
I love those conversations. I have those conversations all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
All the time with lots of different people.
Yep. It's great because it's very uplifting, and there's nothing more joyful than when God fills you up with his spirit because you have gone into his presence.
And the thing is, that's why they almost say the cup is overflowing. Like you can't help but pour it out to people because this is so much of it. I got to pour it out.
Yeah, I got to give you some of this because it's
overflowing.
It's coming out of me, and my ears are like eyes. It's just here, have some.
So what would be some practical ideas for God honoring dating yourself, going through the self-care part? I think we should be just checking on yourself to see, like, why are you doing these things? Any of the things that we suggest, just the whole rights, wrongs, reasons thing. So are you doing the right thing for the right reason? As ultimately, where you're looking at your heart reasons. And so there's things like just going out for coffee, taking the Bible with you, or a book, or maybe less screen time.
Or journaling.
Those type of things. Taking it, because if you want it to be refreshing, like self-care, I think less screen time works with that. Especially if you're going out to do something, because you already do screen time within your home. Unless you're doing like a movie with or whatever, that's a little different. But if you're going to a coffee shop or just taking a downtime, then try to do it with purpose.
Yeah. Like the one that I mentioned, doing like a nature walk or going to the beach or somewheres where you can just pray and meditate and
enjoy
just
that
sit
God
in
has
God's
made.
presence. Yeah. It's nothing is more awe-inspiring than looking around at nature and what God had created and realize that God created all of this, and it is so interesting and so like down to the very last, very teeny tiny itty bitty little atom, nothing is missed, and it's just, and the different colors and the different shapes and it's just, That too.
Yeah. And even how about you buy yourself some flowers? Because some people
Mm.
are like, oh, you got flowers. I don't get flowers. It's, yeah, there's something about somebody giving them to you, but you can go out and you can buy flowers and make a nice arrangement and be like,
Or you can grow your own.
yeah. Or a lot of times when I think about that buying the flowers thing, you're like, but then they're just going to die. But then you see like the hanging baskets of flowers. So something like that would be a little bit more long term. But yeah, go
Yep.
buy a hanging basket, put it somewhere that you can see it and enjoy the beauty of it.
You do is you order flowers for a year in advance, but you have the guy pick the random that they delivered, and so you wait a year and you also get flowers.
There you go.
Just randomly
Just
one day.
random.
Or order it for your birthday. Oh, I got flowers for my birthday. That's so nice.
I forgot I sent myself flowers.
Leave yourself a voicemail for your birthday.
Yeah. I'm just sending it. Yeah, we have random.
But
does
you
that kind of-
can set dates of things like, say you write yourself an email and it's your birthday and you write yourself an email to yourself a year from then and have it set to send in a year. You'll probably forget all about it. And then
Yeah.
you'll get an email
Yep.
from yourself and be like, wait, what? And then
And in that email, it's not outside of the goodness of what God says about you. And that would be something you would write in there is God calls you this. God says this about you. You are worthy. You are loved. You are beautiful. These are how God sees you. And it's just like, oh, I want to cry.
I write so well. Explore new places. That's what I was saying. I was going through like that events thing, like just Facebook events. Just, oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, actually, maybe go do it. Not just like me, just think it's cool and then don't go anywhere. But there's like ways of saying, oh, I've never actually been to the zoo. That's not too far from here. And you think that'd be like,
Have you ever been to Hell's Gate?
no.
That's cool too.
So I haven't done much here in BC, weirdly enough, except I've gone to Whistler a few times. So that's about, and I've gone to the Capilano Bridge, which is insanely expensive, even though it's beautiful. But it really running the risk of, is it that beautiful?
Yeah, going to the zoo might be a fun activity to do. It's a lot of walking.
Yeah. But what's neat,
Which
yeah.
is-
What's neat, if you do some of these things by yourself, you can actually go as fast or slow at whatever position that you want to go. If
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to take
And you're not-
longer at one spot just to enjoy it, you don't have to move on for half an hour. You can sit on a bench and just be.
Oh, look, it's the penguins. I just want to sit here for the next 2 hours watching penguins.
And nobody's, oh, can't you go on? And you're not sitting there in your mind going, oh, I can't stay here forever because they're waiting for me or whatever. You actually can just, same with, and you can be like, oh, I don't like this part. Boom, through it. You don't have to. It's very interesting that way. And then you can also find a hobby that maybe is something that you didn't think of that you haven't done. Little Miss Painting. There you go.
Little Miss Pain.
Yep, there you go.
I've got
There you
it.
go.
There you go. Yes, I did that. It's my
Look
blue
at mine.
wave.
No, just kidding. I bought that.
And I've got a lot of, but you don't have to do painting.
No, there's lots of things too that you
Yeah,
can do.
yeah.
But you can look for something that you might enjoy, and then you can actually see if there's other, like I said, that meetup.com. Again, it's not a dating site. It's just people meeting up that have similar interests. Once you can go through that and see all the different clubs and things out there that are close by you and be like, oh, I've always thought that photography would be interesting. Let's try going here, or whatever it is that you decide.
I like photography. I should actually go to a photography class.
There you go. So I already
I
put
should
her
show
onto
you.
I've on her into a new hobby, but lots of
Well,
options.
But part of my hobby, I don't know if you can see that, is that I like taking pictures of things. Can you see that? Is it too bright?
It's clouds.
Yep.
Oh.
It's the mountains
Oh.
from the airplane. Hero, don't do that.
Yeah. So
I'll
there's,
show you. See? I've got to tilt the,
yeah,
there you go.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I love taking pictures, and I would, oh, I got to show you this one too. But yeah, but what my hobbies are not what your hobbies are, and it's not what his hobbies are. So everybody has their own interests and their own things that they like to do. So whether it is taking your bike out for a ride, walking, going on hikes,
Playing board games.
playing board games, going bowling.
Lots and lots of things.
Yep. Maybe it's making up stories or writing poems.
Yeah.
There are lots of hobbies out there. My brother Richard, his hobby is building model cars. He works in a body shop, and he never uses the paint that comes with the kit. He puts the car together, and then he actually uses real car paint to paint them. And he's got a room that's full of them. Like, he's got the Scooby-Doo van, he's got the Batmobile, he's got all these little cars and all these little, and their shelves and stuff. That's his hobby. And he's got a room that's dedicated to putting all of that there. My grandfather built a train set that went through two rooms. And it had the village and trees and lights, and it was really, everybody wanted that train set when he passed away. Still don't know to this day whatever happened to it.
So just remember that
My dad raised birds.
There you go.
And bred them and won trophies and ribbons.
Yep. You never know what you can do with your hobby. So
Yep.
self-care is a form of stewardship. You're stewarding your body. You're keeping it healthy and mindful in physical health. Oh, I've frozen. Oh, they're back. Physical health, but also mental health and spiritual health. Like, all these things are super important. Remember that you are never alone, even while you're doing this, that God is with you. And regardless of how long this single time of your life is, forever or for a short time, we don't know, anywhere in between, it's always good to enjoy God's gifts and grow deeper in your relationship with Him. So don't forget to do that. And I think there's but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such thing there is no law. So if you're not sure, just figure out if it falls into those categories.
Yep. And your call to action.
Choose. Go for it.
Yeah. Choose one small way to date yourself with God this week. And even if it's something that you're not sure is this thought, Pastor Adam would often say, this week, I want you to be open to a God instance. Somewheres where you saw God. Something it could be on your drive to work. It could be on a walk you take. It could be a conversation you heard or that you had. Look for that moment where God would know.
Yeah. So figure it out. If you found something that you want to share with us, tell us how you dated yourself this week, how you spent time with God. We'd love to hear about it.
Yep.
And just check your heart, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, all those things. But otherwise, it's not bad to have some you time. And you are worth spending time with. So, and so are we. So I hope you'll all come here next time to spend more time with us.
Did David ever say what he likes to do for his me time?
No, he didn't.
I didn't.
David, what do you like to do in your me time? Because you're a guy. We said the girl stuff. What's the guy stuff?
Oh no, I need to speak for all males.
You don't have to speak for all males, but you can definitely give us an example of something that you do specifically for you when you just need time for yourself.
I guess I just lay down, turn on some music, and think.
Yeah. You also listen to the Bible audio, don't you?
Yes, there's that too.
Yeah.
So I either talk to people about different topics, anything ranging from limited atonement to whether or not gifts are here today or not. And then I just generally listen to the Bible, read the Bible, and then, or just lay on the couch or in my bed and listen to music and think.
Nice.
Yep. Relax.
Yep.
It's just a time to relax. Yeah. That's good. There you go.
There you go.
I just had to, I don't think I heard what David liked to do. David, what do you like to do? And I do know that you are also immersed in the online community of gaming as well.
Yeah, I rarely play.
Yeah, because you've got your job that you do a lot now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. So hope
Okay.
that this helped a little bit, that you can go date yourself and feel good about it to an extent. And yeah, just let us know what you did and maybe we can talk about it next time. But we'll see you all here next week.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Route 77 podcast. We hope this conversation helped shift your perspective on self-care, not as self-indulgence, but as a form of stewardship. God cares about our emotional and physical well-being, and He invites us to rest and refresh in Him. So whether it's a solo coffee date with your Bible, a long walk to pray, or simply buying yourself flowers, invite God into those moments. Let Him fill you so that your cup overflows into the lives of others. Remember, you're not waiting for life to begin. You're living it now. You are worthy of love, attention, and care, and not just from others, but from yourself, because you're made in God's image. Until next time, keep walking the route, and remember to live your single life to its fullest.